If you're here after watching part 1, then you already know that I'm trying to turn this living room into my sewing studio because this is where I work. I want it to be pretty because it's my living room, but also functional because this is where I practice my sewing. For most of it all, I don't want to purchase anything for this makeover. My goal is to only use things that I either have laying around or that I found in the street, like this rocker. So if you want to watch me turn this living room into my new creative space that holds all of my equipment, yet still feels like a nice space to relax in, stick around. You're watching part 2 of Sewing Studio Makeover, but only with furniture I found in the streets. Which, let me show you the finds. In part 1, I showed you how my boyfriend and I restored this cabinet, which now holds my sewing machines. Well, a couple weeks ago, we also found this in the neighborhood. It's in pretty good condition, but it has this peeling layer of plastic that's peeling away. It also had a mirror in there, which is why it's so tall, but I already removed that, and I'm gonna be cutting that part off because I don't need it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to scrape the peeling plastic away, and then we'll be removing this upper part. As to placement, my original idea was to install it right there next to its sister, but then I realized that this piece does not protrude as much as that one, so it might be interesting to place it on this side of the room since it wouldn't be removing too much working space, which was the main reason that I placed that one there. And if you're looking at my wall right now and wondering where, there. I'm gonna be removing this wooden shelving piece because whilst it's very, very cute, it can't hold anything. So yeah, that's where. Update. Last night I finished peeling off the plastic layer from this side and I slept on this. I extensively thought about this and I'm not going to do the other side. And the reason behind this is the fact that I'm not doing the best job. Not only am I not doing the best job, I think this looks significantly worse than the other side. So since this is the side that's going to be against the wall, I'm just going to give it a quick coat of paint on this side just to hide some of the blemishes and call it a day. What we are going to do now, because I have requested some professional help, is we're going to cut this off. we recently built a home theater. It's very amateur, but it's a home theater nonetheless. And for that, we had to purchase these rods. And these are the leftovers. And it occurred to me whilst rolling up our makeshift screen that these rods could be the perfect pattern paper holder. Both of these are the same size and they're not long enough. So I thought, why don't I join them? We'll see how that goes. And I have to admit to you that I'm also cheating on this episode because I did end up purchasing something, but not too much. I needed this thing to install the rod. But otherwise, everything else in this video is something that I had either laying around in the house or that I found in the streets. So I made 2 holes in the rods to unite them, and the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna plug this in and use some glue and then like twist them. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna let this dry and I'll install the thing tomorrow. So I let this thing dry overnight and now it's completely dry. So it's time to install it. However, there's one thing I need to do first, which is remove the rulers and fill the holes. That's done. Let's install the rod. Not only was this surprisingly difficult, but I think I need to trim a little bit of the rod. I don't know. If you watched part 1, then you recognize this. But if you haven't, here's a quick summary. This was thrown by a bar in the neighborhood, and this shelving unit was covered in what I assumed at the time, and I still assume is beer. So in part 1, I showed you how I shaved off the outer layer and installed some wheels, which I'm very much still excited about the wheels. But in part 1, I also mentioned that I wasn't very happy with how this looked. So I thought about this for a while, and originally I thought, hey, why don't I stain it? But then I remembered that I have zero experience staining, that staining is very hard. I legit was trying to convince myself to stain it. But I'm not. But what I am going to do is I'm going to paint it. But not boring. I'm going to paint it fun colors. the thing is, I'm not a good painter. So I think I'm gonna go for a very simple design. In terms of colors, I want this to match my living room, so I'm gonna stick to my color palette. Which this is a very exciting time because I've been waiting and dying to do this thing, and I feel like this is the perfect time. So quick break while I show you the thing that I've been wanting to do. I have been waiting for the temperatures to drop to install this rug, and I'm so happy. It makes me happy. This rug makes me happy. I really do wish I could keep it year long, but it just gets too hot in the summer. I think I found my inspo picture. Like I said, I'm looking for a very simple design because I'm not the best painter. So here's the design that I chose, but I'm going to slightly alter the shades just to make sure that that's the same color palette that I'm using for my living room. Painting this card was actually very enjoyable to me. However, I went back and forth between a couple ideas whilst painting. I didn't know if I wanted some wood to show or to cover the whole thing. I ended up stopping here, but I'm not opposed to maybe at some point giving this another try. I also went ahead and started patching up the holes, and I also painted them because at that point I really needed to see some progress, and those holes were really an eyesore. In part 1, someone in the comments asked me where I keep my sewing machine cords. This is where. If you have not noticed, this is my favorite hiding spot. In the first part, I show you how I fixed the machine issue. Fortunately for me, they're no longer here, which means that I have much more space for my clothes. And that came at the perfect time because I switched my summer wardrobe for my winter. Yeah, everything fits now. So now I'm fixing the cords issue. I'm gonna finally store them where they belong, which is where this comes at play. I also found this in the neighborhood a long time ago. I painted it and it was sitting on my credenza. But then I realized that everything that I usually keep in here, I could keep somewhere else. So I decided that I'm gonna repurpose it again. I've been waiting to do this for a while, but I was waiting for a bit of a more definitive layout of this side of the room to do this. And now that my ideas are finally panning out, this is the time that I tackle this very unfortunate situation. These rulers were originally placed on the wall, held by a simple nail, which meant that they were falling all the time, especially on my feet. So I ended up removing them from the wall because I care about my feet. But that also meant that they have been just sitting there for a while, and they've also been falling from there, but less frequently, which was apparently a win. So it's finally time to do something about it. We thrifted these holders a long time ago, and we placed the bigger ones on our doors, and those hold my coats and my robes and my sweaters. But they came in with these tiny ones, and these are gonna hold my rulers. Overall, I'm very happy and very pleased with how this makeover is coming along. I do want to take a bit more time to purposefully decorate this space, as I feel it's not quite coherent yet. There are so many gaps on the walls that I would very much like to fill, but when it comes to decorating, I like to do things as I go, because I feel like that creates opportunity to have new and better ideas, or at least to find or thrift new items for the space. Next episode is going to be all about decoration, and I have to admit that I'm very, very, very tempted to paint the walls. Some very fun colors, maybe one color, I don't know. So let me know if that would be interesting to you. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. See ya!